Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to LandscapeToday.net's weekly weather outlook. Well, across the nation, as we wrap up 2015 and head into 2016, there's going to be some big changes. What has been the pattern in December will change some heading into the new year. Let's take a look at the current jet stream pattern across the United States. It's a pattern where high pressure is building along the west coast before digging a trough into the Rockies. And then there's that storm system that caused so many problems in Texas with the rain, snow, flooding, and all those bad tornadoes. That system in Texas right here is a real sign that the El Nino weather pattern we've been talking about is finally really getting going for the southern tier of the United States. Cold air pouring out of Canada will keep the Rockies and the northern plain states very cold. But there's been a little bit of a change in the weather pattern that's going to give the Pacific Northwest a little bit of a break. Still snowy and unsettled, but the precipitation in the Pacific Northwest has been incredible. There are some areas in the Cascades that picked up 1/4 of their yearly total for precipitation in just 1 week with incredible amounts of snow. Also, the central and the northern Sierras, snowpacks there have gone to at or above normal. So that's a really good sign. Now, let's go forward 10 days. And what we see developing in the next 10 days is a pattern where the jet stream is still dipping to the west, but further across Southern California. Then also notice it looks and gets colder into portions of the Great Lakes and the Northeast. The very balmy, very warm conditions in the east and southeast United States begins to erode as we get into the new year. We're actually going to see on New Year's Day and New Year's weekend some cold air come into this portion of the country, giving quite a cool down. Notice this trough coming into the west coast. It's dipping further south, and this has a real good chance of bringing this part of the country, then extending into this area here later on, some wet weather. And yes, that does include Southern California. Over the next 3 days, the bulk of the precipitation will be in the east, all part of that storm system coming up out of Texas. This is mostly going to be rain here, although on the backside of the system here, this is going to be snow. A bit of a mix here. Then areas of rain will be breaking out. Some heavy thunderstorms in the southeastern United States. On the backside of the system, cold air is going to come in later this week and the weekend. Still wet in the Pacific Northwest, but not nearly as wet. Only light rains in Southern California through this week, but that will change further on. So let's take a look at the highlights in our long-range outlook going forward. Our major weather trends, very cold across the west, the north, but beginning to spread east. It'll be very cold across the Rockies, the northern plains, and all the way down into the deep south of Texas. Above normal temperatures in the east for the southeast are going to hang on. After a record warm December, things are going to change heading into the new year. Not as stormy in the Pacific Northwest, colder with areas of rain and snow in the upper Great Lakes, upper Midwest over the coming days, especially mid to late in the week. Colder by New Year's Day for the Northeast. That includes New York. That includes Boston. That includes a lot of the eastern, mid-Atlantic, northeast seaboard that has been so mild. Colder weather is coming. The El Nino pattern is firing up early in the new year. The rains we've been anticipating for California and the southern plains and the southern states is going to be developing as it looks now right at New Year and beyond, especially into the first 2 to 3 weeks of January. So do be ready for some shifting weather, especially for you folks in the east that have been so warm and across the southern tier, as we saw with that big storm this weekend over Texas. There's more stormy weather coming for the southern areas of the U.S. in the weeks ahead. Thanks for tuning in to LandscapeToday.net's weekly weather long-range outlook. We'll talk to you next week.